Africa is a land. It's a tough place to raise a family. Even tougher when doing it alone. In the wilderness of southern Africa, two leopard mothers do all they can to raise their cubs. It's a difficult job. They need to be tender and loving, strong and vicious killers. A contradiction in terms. They are tender killers. The TIMBAVATI is a remarkable wilderness area near Kruger in South Africa. It is prime leopard country, and in particular, it is home to two leopard mothers. This is their extraordinary story. Rockfig is young, strong and beautiful, with unusually green eyes. Mbali is smaller and older than Rockfig. She is 13 years old and regarded as the old lady of the area. The dense woodlands of the TIMBAVATI have just the right variety of trees and bushes for the two spotted cats. On the ground, they find perfect prey. And the high trees provide excellent places to rest and eat in peace. For a leopard, life doesn't seem more perfect. But for these two mothers, it's far from it. Rockfig and Mbali have a cub each to protect and care for. Mbali's cub, Kuhanya, is 6 months old and Mbali's only surviving cub. Protecting a cub from dangerous predators is probably a mother's toughest challenge. Rockfig has done this well. This is her 6th cub, and her name is Inkatango. But there is much more that a mother leopard has to do to make sure that her cub grows into the perfect leopard. And she has a year and a half to get this right. It's a lot of work for a single parent. There are no rules to being a mother leopard. Success is measured in the life or death of the cub she bears. The two mothers approach their roles ways. Mbali is one of the best hunter around. She spends days alone in prey. But this means she keeps a 6-month-old cub by herself. Sometimes as many as 5 days. It's an extremely dangerous time for the little one. Every day Mbali spends alone, she's on the hunt. It's a well-choreographed performance, starting with stalking. The twitch in her tail shows her concentration. She becomes invisible, imperceptible to the steenbok feeding in front of her. One paw at a time, she edges closer. She can sprint very fast with immense power for just a short burst of time. So she needs to get as close as possible to catch the steenbok. Every move she makes is calculated. 10 meters. The steenbok cannot see or smell her. but Mbali studies its every move. Five meters. The steenbok turns its back. A fatal mistake. It never saw her coming. Her hold is perfect. In less than a minute, the small antelope dies. Mbali's strategy is to hunt animals small enough to overpower easily and kill effortlessly. And every time she eats, she has a ritual. She meticulously plucks the fur from the carcass before she bites into it. Most leopards hate eating the fur or feathers of their kill and take a few minutes to clean it. She opens the house in soft spot, the belly. Then she eats it. The little steenbok only weighs 10 kilograms, and Mbali finishes most of it in a few hours. She's been away from her cub for 2 days. It's time to find her. She left the little one in a secluded spot. A dense thicket which should keep her hidden from roaming predators. Kuhanya is 6 months old and full of the energy typical of a cub her age. But she's vulnerable and startles at any sound. Her instinct is to hide, but her curiosity makes her look. It's a surprise that Kuhanya has survived this long. Mbali has not been a lucky mother. Every cub she's had up to now has not lived long enough to be given a name. She's 13 years old, and Kuhanya could be her last hope of being a mother. The cub hears her mother's familiar calls immediately. They reunite like long-lost friends. Mbali is a very affectionate mother. Grooming reinforces the relationship between mother and daughter. But not all leopards approach motherhood the same way. Where Mbali leaves her cub for days, Rockfig is never too far from Nkatango. And she follows her everywhere. But the cub is not always the only one. Local clan have made it their business to keep a watch on Rockfig's movements. And she has devised different ways to deceive them. She makes it safely into the tree, but now she needs to get her cub into it as well. She drops a piece of meat to distract the hyenas. Her call is Nkatango's cue. She's only 6 months old, but already she's learning her mother's ways to trick the hyenas. She makes it safely past them. By late afternoon, Rockfig is ready to move on. They've stayed in this area for 2 days, and it's time to lose the hyenas and find a new hunting spot. Her plan is to go first and make the hyenas follow her. This should give Nkatango the crucial moment to escape. But not all the hyenas are deceived. The cub is stuck in the tree, If she, the hyenas will kill her. She needs to find a way to distract them. Rockfig watches helplessly. And Katango comes up with a plan, a trick she has seen her mother use before. She drops the skin. It works. Safely, she makes her getaway. To survive as a leopard, the cat needs to deceive and outsmart the enemy, whatever its size. Rockfig has taught her cub well. She's a good mother, but not the affectionate kind. She doesn't like playing with her cub, so Nkatango has found different ways to engage her mother. Her flicking tail is a moving target to catch and bite. In this way, Nkatango refines her skills. A mother's job is to give her cub different tasks to hone her instincts. These could be as simple as following the tip of a tail, or more demanding, like climbing a tree. Mbali leads her cub, Kuhanya, to a tree where she stashed the remains of an impala kill. It's a tall tree with a straight trunk. She easily leaps up. Kuhanya tries to follow. She has all the right moves. But she gets halfway and no more. She gives up. This time, her mother has set her a task too big for her to achieve. Even for Mbali, the tree poses a challenge. Climbing down is not as easy as going up. Mbali doesn't stay around for long. Kuhanya knows not to follow. Leopards are solitary creatures. It's in their nature to do things alone. It's this secretive nature that makes them one of the most successful cats in the world. They are versatile hunters. Nothing is too small to kill and eat. Rockfig caught a bird. It's a one-portion meal, and she gives it to her cub. The dead fowl keeps Nkatango busy and gives Rockfig some time alone. She is an astute mother. Everything she does for her cub has a specific reason. The bird is small and light enough for Nkatango to practice her reflexes. She learns how to hold and carry her prey. As a mother, Rockfig does things by the book. After eating, her cub's fur needs to be cleaned and groomed. Licking removes dirt. Biting plucks off ticks. Nkatango reluctantly endures her mother's attention. A leopard prefers to move and hunt under the cover of darkness. Days are spent resting. But Mbali hunts day or night. And Rockfig prefers the dark hours. By dawn, she's ready to rest. Her cub is close by. Rockfig tries to sleep, while Nkatango spends some energy. Always under her mother's eyes. She explores alone. Then she finds her favorite toy. But she's too tired to play. And soon, she's asleep as well. Winters in this part of Africa are harsh for the resident antelope. Water sources dry up and grasses wilt and die. But life for the predators is different. There is always something to feed on. And this Himalaya and unlucky others. They can maintain a small territory where we'll always find food. The cubs sometimes hemorrhage well. Again, Mbali's cub, Kuhania, is on her own. She's 8 months old now, and used to practicing her skills alone. Her biggest challenge is climbing a tree. She's now old enough to start to hunt. The posture is right, but she's too fast and gives herself away. A leopard's life is a lonely existence. Kuhania gets a taste of this early in her life. Should she make it past her first critical year, she will be well prepared for the time ahead. Winter is coming to an end. The changing winds bring rain clouds from the east. Rockfig takes refuge in a marula tree, the only tree around with leaves. Nkatango follows her out of the rain. They have a park in a tree nearby. Tano leaves share them. Nkango Hamiti and resting all night. She's not a old, full of energy. She's confident moving around the tree and annoys her mother. Suddenly, a movement below catches Nkatango's attention. The hyenas have found the two leopards. Rockfig has a dilemma. To get to the tree with the kill, she would have to take her cub through the dangerous gauntlet of hyenas below. So she waits. The question is, who will give up first? Nkatengo has other plans. She's too young and inexperienced to realize the danger she's in. Her mother cannot help her now. If the hyenas catch her, they will kill her. But Nkatengo is quick and nimble and makes it off the ground and away from the immediate danger. Lucky escape. While the hyenas follow the cub, Rockfig takes a chance and reaches the tree with the kill. Mother and daughter have been separated, with a whole clan of hyenas between them. There are enough of them to keep an eye on both leopards. The hyenas are relentless. They intimidate Nkatengo into the highest and flimsiest branches of the thorn bush. If they snap, she'll be dead. There is nothing Rockfig can do now. She doesn't dare take on so many hyenas. Nkatengo balances precariously in the thorn bush. The hyenas wait for her to make a mistake. Hours pass. The hyenas fall asleep. Nkatengo plucks up enough courage to try to climb to the ground. She's still far from her mother, and there are hyenas everywhere. The arrival of the matriarch distracts them. It's all the cub needs. Nkatengo is a brave little cub. True to her nature, Rockfig makes no fuss of her daughter that just ran the gauntlet and survived. The carcass is just skin and bones. Pieces start to fall. Nothing left to eat, and the hyenas leave. For mother and daughter, it's time to move on. Rockfig leads the way. Nkatengo is exhausted, and she takes her time. In just one day, she has had to put everything she's learnt about hyenas into practice. She's deceived and outsmarted the larger predators and survived. She's a courageous little leopard. Every animal has its own unique signature, a fingerprint that sets it apart from the others of its own kind. Some animals have more obvious identifying features. like the particular stripe pattern of a zebra, or the dark patches of a giraffe. A leopard's spots are her fingerprints. The difference between the two cubs is subtle. Kuhanya, Mbali's cub, has a pink nose and 3 spots on either side of it. Nkatango has a black nose and 2 spots. But sometimes there is more that sets leopards apart. Rockfig has unmistakable green eyes. Mbali's eyes are a golden color. And Mbali has 2 more distinguishing features. She has lost 2 canines. And her ears are scarred by years of biting by flies. Despite the loss of her teeth, she is still a great hunter. Her success in killing is partly due to her excellent skills, and partly due to her careful choice of prey. But every now and then, she does take a chance with a larger animal. The warthog mother is at least 10 kilograms heavier than Mbali. She is also dangerous, with tusks that could fatally injure the leopard. But the lure to kill is irresistible. Her approach is perfect. The warthog mother doubles back. She looks for Mbali, but she doesn't see her. In the confusion, the piglets scattered. Mbali finds a second one. Her grip crushes its lungs. She drops it to look for another. Mbali doesn't kill it. Shaking from fright, the piglet looks for warmth and reassurance. Remarkably, Mbali allows it to cuddle. Is it her mothering instincts that make her pause? That allows the piglet a reprieve? In one bite, the tender moment is gone. The killer is back. She walks off into the fading light. Her intention is to take live prey to her daughter. But by the time she reaches her, the piglet is dead. She has to be cruel to be a good mother. Kuchania practices her moves. Soon, she will graduate to live prey. Bal is master in her reservoir. This up ahead. Kuchania is almost year old. In the wilderness of southern Africa, mothers pass all they know to their young. But some lessons need to be learnt alone. A young elephant takes several years to master the use of its trunk. Young male giraffes play fight to strengthen their necks, to prepare them for the real fight for dominance that they will have when they are adults. Young impala rams do the same. Leopard cubs learn to do things by watching their mothers. Mbali shows her cub how to grab an animal by the neck. Then Kuchania does the same. For the first time in her life, Mbali sees her cub grow to the milestone age of 1 year. Kuchania's chances of making it to adulthood now double. She has earned the true meaning of her name. Kuchania, survivor. During the next year, she will reach another milestone. She will become an adult, a new leopard to take up residence here on a piece of land near her mother's. In the woodlands of Timbavati, winter gives way to summer. A spray of new green covers grass and bush. Impalas give birth during these early summer months so that the youngsters can feed on the abundance of grass. Within a few weeks, the impala population multiplies. And the two leopard mothers make the most of it. Rockfig wakes up alone. Nkatango is a year old and often goes exploring now. But she shouldn't be too far. Rockfig's low rasps travel for several hundred meters. As she walks, she keeps calling. A termite mound gives her a high platform to see over the tall grass. Finally, the mischievous cub arrives. As always, Rockfig does not stop for pleasantries. She is on a mission. She has something for Nkatango. This time, she's hidden her kill in a secluded place, in the hope that the hyenas won't find it. It's a newborn impala. Small enough for her cub to drag up and down a fallen log. This is part of her training. fun over. She expects to be groomed by her mother. But Rockfig is grumpy and sends her away. It's another lesson for the growing cub. She needs to start to look after herself. She's a year old now. She's almost an adult and lucky to be alive. She walks with confidence in her mother's territory. She knows its pathways well. But there are always surprises. Some are as harmless as the tortoise that has caught her attention. Trying to bite through the shell keeps her amused for a little while. Other surprises are more menacing. A hyena on her own. A chance to get her own back. At this age, Ngatengo thinks she can take on anything. The hyena hasn't seen her yet. But when she does, the brave act ends. Ngatengo gets away just in time and returns to her mother for some reassurance. But Rockfig leaves. During the next 6 months, Ngatengo will have to learn to do things alone. Across the riverbed, Mbali's cub, Kuhanya, is practicing what her mother has taught her. She plucks the fur from the young impala, just like she's seen her mother do many times before. Soon, she will be an adult. And she will take all Mbali's teachings with her. And one day, she will pass these valuable lessons to her cubs. Perhaps someday their paths will cross again. Nkatango has moved out of her mother's territory and away from the hyena clan that plagued her young life. She has stashed her first kill high up in a tree, just like Rockfig taught her. She's a blueprint of her mother, a perfect leopard. Her life looks promising. But her mother is not so lucky. In a fight with another leopard, Rockfig suffered a bad injury. The deep scratch behind her ear became infected. The festering wound jeopardizes her ability to hunt. She becomes weaker. Eventually, she moves deep into her territory, and she is never seen again. In the great wilderness of Timbavati, seasons change and bring drought and rain, life and death. It's taken more than 2 years for the sound of leopard cubs to return to Rockfig's territory. Her legacy is now guaranteed. Nkatango gave birth to her first litter. It's now her time to pass on all her mother's teachings to the lineage of green-eyed leopards. A new generation of tender killers.